You're all here and you know how to sign on, but we've included that information in this workshop so that you can teach your members to use Zoom. Now, I do want to apologize for not sending out the how to Zoom ahead of time because we were getting registrations, in fact, until about 3 minutes ago. And we wanted to make sure we are going to send that out with the link of this recording. If you have any questions for us after the workshop that may not be related to Zoom or may be related to Zoom, our emails for Carol, Toby, and I are in the bottom. Co-hosting with me tonight, first of all, I'm Renee Ravitch. I'm the moderator of Presnet and a Women's League consultant. We have Carol Simon, International Past President, and she and Toby Mazer. Toby, where are you? Is on. Toby is also a consultant and she works with Carol on the President's Workshops for Convention. Is that accurate?
Perfect.
Okay, great. All right, Carol.
Okay, so an easy way to start the meeting sometimes is with a quote. On letsgrowleaders.com, I found an article titled, How to Start Your Next Zoom Meeting in a More Meaningful Way. I will put the website in the chat when I'm done speaking. What the article talked about was that we need to start each meeting with a collective deep breath. Right now, typically we either socialize talking about the weather, what we are binge watching, or our hair. So how do we do this? Share an inspirational quote that will give everyone a minute to reflect on, and if time allows, share what is on their minds. Ready? Here's a quote by Socrates. The secret to change is to focus all your energy, not on figuring out the old, but on building this now. Think about that for a second, or as we go through our meeting tonight. There are a variety of websites to find quotes on, or the easiest method is just to Google quotes for a specific topic, such as innovation, perseverance, leadership, sisterhood, etc.
We hope to cover the most necessary and useful features of the Zoom platform. We have slides to help you find what you need. There are a number of tutorial videos on Zoom from which we gathered this information. We have endeavored to present these in a concise format to assist you in your future meetings. You can contact us or go to zoom.us for topics not covered this evening or for review. The recording will be posted and we will send a script to you in the next few days. It'll keep you from having to take notes tonight. Please follow along with us. If you have any questions, put it in the chat, which will explain if you don't know how to use that in a few minutes.
So to join a meeting, Zoom is requiring everyone to upgrade to Zoom 5.0. So if you haven't done so, please be sure to do that the next time you're prompted and remind your members to do so. When using Zoom, make sure your lighting is good and you're not lost in the shadows, especially if you are leading. You have several options, as you know, for participating in a Zoom meeting. You may use video and audio from your computer, tablet, or smartphone, or you may use audio only from your device, or you may call in directly to the meeting from your phone. You can join in a Zoom meeting via teleconferencing or audio conferencing using a traditional phone. This is useful if you do not have a microphone or speaker on your PC or Mac, you do not want to use video while on the road, or you cannot connect to a network for video or VoIP. The first two options, of course, require a download of the Zoom program app, which you have all done. And you know how to do that beforehand, and you followed the links. When you're teaching your members to use it, though, please remind them to be careful to download the correct app, because sometimes you'll put in zoom.us and other apps will pop up in your app store ahead of that. Follow the directions on the screen to download. So once you have Zoom installed, click on the link for the meeting. We're waiting for Toby to pull up the share. She had it before. And we'll talk. Toby, do you have there we go. All right. You'll be asked to allow Zoom. Asked if you wish to join by video. And then by audio. Click yes to the options you want. You may be put into a waiting room and the host will admit you. So for this particular meeting that's up on the screen, we had people go into the waiting room first, and then the host had to let us in. You can click on the link for one touch call on your mobile phone, which will automatically add the meeting ID and possibly password. If you dial the call-in number, you'll be asked to enter the meeting ID number followed by the # and possibly the password. You can use your phone's mute option or hit *6 to mute and unmute. It is important not to send the meeting information and password to anyone else unless you're specifically asked to share it. This ensures security. So if you're in gallery view, you'll see a screen like that with all the faces, like the Brady Bunch. If you are in speaker view, there will be a box with the speaker popping up in the middle, and then the faces either above or the side. Find your face. I want you all to try this now if you haven't already. Find your face, put your cursor over it. You'll see a blue button that says unmute, which you will click on if you have questions later on when we open it up for questions. If the host didn't mute you, you would have to mute that because you don't want background noise and static. There are also 3 dots when you put the cursor over your face. You can put in your name if it doesn't show, or if it shows your device name, by clicking on the rename option. You can also choose to stop the video using the options at the 3 dots. You can switch between gallery view and speaker view. The tab is on the upper right on a computer and on the left on a tablet. Meeting and webinar participants who are viewing a shared screen can switch to side-by-side mode. This enables them to see the shared screen alongside either the speaker view or gallery view, depending on which view they choose. You can also adjust the location of the separator between the shared screen and the video to change the relative size of each side. So if you see on the screen that Toby is sharing now, there is a highlighted line to the right of the picture, and you can just slide that over and it'll make the screen share smaller and show more pictures if you're in the side-by-side view. Okay, so if you want to go into the side-by-side view, click on View Options at the top, and then choose the side-by-side mode from the drop-down menu. Okay, you have the next slide for us, Toby? Okay, that's where the side-by-side is. The shared screen will appear on the left and the speaker on the right, and there's your separator. It's much clearer there for you to see it. You can slide the separator. As I said, in this case, I moved it over a few more inches to the left so I can see more people on the right. Click speaker view or gallery view at the top of the page to switch between the 2. To exit side-by-side mode, click the view options and then uncheck side-by-side mode. So some people have virtual backgrounds behind them. Back to slide 9, there we go. Click on the arrow by the camera icon and choose virtual background. You will be told whether or not your system supports it. There's a page in the Zoom tutorials that explains requirements for Mac and PC. Please note that you can get lost in your background. You can use a green screen and/or don't wear clothing that is the same color as your virtual background. Be aware of your video, especially if you are the speaker. We were on a call the other day and somebody had a forest behind them. She got up and walked away. It looked like she was walking through the forest. Yeah, so that's why you have to be aware. Okay, so now the chat part. If you want to ask us questions, there's the toolbar on the bottom of the screen. If you put your cursor on the screen, the toolbar will pop up. If you put your cursor there, you'll see the button that says chat. If you click on chat, a box will open on the side or on the top of the screen share, and you can post a question, reply, or comment. In the box will be the option to chat to everyone, or you can choose a name from the participant drop-down menu and chat privately. However, chats are saved for a couple of days, so be mindful of what you say and don't talk about my hair. If you are on the phone, unmute and ask your question. There is an option to raise your hand. Again, if you move your cursor to the bottom of the screen and the toolbar pops up, click on the participants icon. That will open a different box. In that box, you'll find the raise your hand icon and just click on it. It'll show your hand in the middle of your picture, so we'll know that you have raised your hand. Please click on lower your hand when your question is answered. If you click on the camera icon to turn the video of you on and off, you will still be able to see the people on the screen. Next to that is an arrow, which will allow you to change which camera you are using and if you want video and it's not showing. Use the arrow next to the microphone if you have to change the output for your audio.
Video settings, where is that?
If you click on the arrow next to your camera, the arrow will pop up those video settings, virtual background, which camera you're using. And the next slide will show the options for the arrow next to the microphone. So if you click on the arrow next to the microphone, it gives you the option to use different speakers if yours isn't working. To leave the meeting, move your cursor on the screen until you see leave meeting and click. Now that's the basic, and I know most of you understand how to do that, but we are stopping here to see if there are any questions so far. You can either put them in the chat or raise your, I see.
Renee, there's one that somebody's on an iPad and they said that there's no arrow. Linda said there's no arrow on the iPad. So I assume that's for the camera and the mic.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay, and I see two hands up. I see Bernard's iPad. Was that the one? Bernard?
No, that was Linda who mentioned that.
Right.
Okay.
And Rosina. Rosina had her hand up.
Rosina, do you know how to unmute?
Mary Cohn.
Okay, unmute. Rosina, what's your question?
No, I was just testing out the raise the hand.
Okay, great.
I have the same problem as the other person. I'm on an iPad, so I don't have all of the features that you've been mentioning.
Okay, I know that some of the, again, at the beginning, or maybe I'll mention it later, these were taken from computer screenshots from Zoom and from my personal computer, and
Okay.
you don't have to adjust. The only one that they mentioned on all of those tutorials was about where the speaker view is on it, you know, the ones on the upper right, ones on the upper left.
Okay, thank you.
So you can probably check on their website. They have a whole lot of tutorials that you can.
Thank you. Thank you.
Renee, Suzanne, want to know if we could go back and talk about how to set up a Zoom meeting. So
We're going to do that next.
Okay, good. Thank you.
This was just to join a meeting All right, and then I see Harriet's hand is,
It's still up. Yes. Thank you, Suzanne. She lowered her hand. Good.
okay.
And you've already got Bernard's, right? Bernard's iPad? You got
Yes.
that one? And Rosina.
Okay,
I'm gonna
and
lower you.
Harriet is,
Um,
okay.
What is that setting? Where is that? Because I don't, when I put the cursor over my name on the right and I go to the
There should be
audio,
3 dots.
it says
should-
more.
There should be 3 dots by your face.
Where?
When you put your cursor over your face.
My face? Oh,
Your little box with your face.
okay, okay.
Sorry.
Oh, that's where it is.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's referred to by Zoom as your video. So when we talk about video, it means your actual picture.
okay, as a participant, you mean?
Yes.
Okay. And
Video.
Renee, there was one more from Marcy that she doesn't see what you're talking about on the iPad. The dots are at the top of the iPad, not by her face.
Okay.
So that's good. You know, every device is a little bit different.
Right. And your phone will be, it says somebody answered that, Shira?
Yeah, Shira did. When she says put your cursor, you can tap that location with your finger on an iPad or an iPhone. Thank you, Shira.
Thank you.
Takes a village.
It does.
Okay.
Okay, if we can mute again. All right, now we are going to talk about hosting a meeting and scheduling and signing in and the more important things. We just wanted to cover those quickly. So you have a few options for signing up for a Zoom account. There's the free 40-minute limit for up to 100 participants. Some workarounds that some people have found to the time limit are to schedule meetings back to back or give someone else hosting privileges at the 5-minute warning, and then they don't always kick you off. The other option is to purchase an account for $14.99 a month. It includes up to 24 hours for each meeting and up to 100 participants per meeting. You can choose to prepay a year and then receive a discount. Your synagogue may allow you to share their line. If that is the case, you may have to ask them to do all the scheduling of the meetings for you. Other options will be mentioned in a few minutes though. So once you have a plan or are licensed by a holder, you can schedule a meeting. These slides are from zoom.us website after signing into the account. You can use the Zoom app, which will be slightly different. So from the home page, click on Schedule a Meeting. Then once you do that, you'll have a page that pops up to put in information. The topic will be the topic of your meeting, board meeting, program name, etc. The description is optional. The when, you click on the calendar and you choose your date. Click on the time. You only have choices of half-hour increments. If you are not on the free plan, choose longer than you think will be necessary. Remember to check AM or PM, and you can make it a recurring meeting, such as for a regular board meeting. That will keep the same link for each meeting. Time zone will automatically be yours. If you're sending the invitation to people outside your time zone, please make note of it when sending the invitation. The next choices are options. Some are required, some are not. Registration is if you want people to pre-register for the meeting. Meeting ID, if you choose to generate automatically, it will change for each meeting and you don't have to remember anything. Require meeting password. This is an important security addition and we suggest you use it. The password will be in the invitation. Video, the default is off. If you want the host and or the participants to have video when signing on, click on. Otherwise, you can allow video when attendees sign in.
Renee, can I
Yes.
someone has a question. How did you get to this screen?
When you do schedule a meeting, if you have an account and you schedule a meeting, this all pops up if you're on the computer. If you're on the app, it's a slightly different screen than this. but it's the same information that they ask.
And then someone asked, how do you know how many people will log in for payment's sake?
If you are taking money for an event, most synagogues have separate accounts for doing that. To take money on Zoom, we aren't going to go into that. I'm not sure how that works here. You will get if you have a registration set up with them, you will get the information of who has registered to sign on to the meeting. You can ask people to RSVP to you too once they sign in. As far as taking money though, I would suggest that you do it through your other means that you've done.
I think I read that wrong.
I think what was meant was how many people can log in, because there are different accounts. You have a maximum, okay?
Right.
So if you want to talk about the maximum, because then there was another question, like for a sisterhood meeting, we know what the max we'd have. So if you want to talk about maximum with the Zoom accounts.
With the accounts, if the free account and the $14.99 a month allow you 100% participants per meeting.
Can I respond to something that Eileen asked about? We're doing that with Sisterhood now. We're having an event and we're having people register, but we're not having the confirmation sent out automatically. So once they pay, we're going to release the confirmation.
Right.
That's how we're doing it.
And that's a great idea. Thank you. That's what we did tonight. You had to register first and then you got the link to join this meeting.
But sometimes it can be done automatically. You know, we had another session recently. Our first session was without cost. And we just let the confirmation go. As soon as somebody registered, the system would send automatically the confirmation.
Right.
I'm not setting it up. Our president has been doing this, but I'm knowledgeable about what he's doing, and I think he's going to teach me how to do it. But now we have it set up so it's not going to automatically send the confirmation until we have check in hand.
All right, Renee, Shira also asked, you notice you only get the phone-in option if you pay for an account. And the
yes.
free account you can use as a Zoom without paying.
There are, no, you can get toll numbers even with free plans.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we have that type of question in here.
Yes.
You only send links to those.
Okay. All right. And Suzanne has a question.
Yeah. I had a question. How do you, like, I noticed that tonight when I got the link from you, I could just click on that and I didn't have to put the password in. It just took me to the Zoom meeting. But like when the synagogue sends out something, I have to manually put in a password. How do you decide that? Like, where is that on the screen that you pick?
When you go into settings, there's a profile on this admin here, account management, and then into settings.
Can you wait, show me where that is on
Okay.
your...
If you, I don't have the cursor for that to show you where it is.
On the screen that I'm on right now, here is where your meeting password would be.
Yes.
And when you'll see later, when you copy the same thing that you had tonight, in order, you just clicked on the red line that you got in. This, if you leave it required meeting password, you'll see that there is a password also on that same page, that when that person signs in, they have to put the password number in, which is this number right here.
How did you make it so that I didn't have to do that tonight then?
You unclick that.
Even though you still listed a password there?
Yes.
Yes.
Just unclick it, the password will go away and you won't need it. But it's strongly recommended. If you're part of Women's League right now and you know anything about the 1 o'clock Psalms and Kaddish that Rabbi Ellen is doing every single day, 6 days a week, we all need passwords there because someone tried to break in at one point and cause all kinds of trouble. the other way around it is to have people stay in the waiting room, which we'll get to,
Right.
and then you have to manually let them in.
They're in settings, you can have that require, on the left-hand side where it says admin, Toby, you see that? And you go into account management, there are a whole list of things in there that you'll have to go through and see. Sometimes it's require passwords always, sometimes it's manually enter. You know, there's a whole list of things in there. And that's where you put certain settings.
Okay.
Women's League is embedded, the password was embedded in the link tonight. So that you just had to click on it. Sometimes a meeting host will have you manually put it in and they'll send the password separately just for security. It's just how they set it up.
And when you, I don't want to take up time now, but when you send this thing at the end, the recording or the list of how to do things, I couldn't hear the person who was talking about how they don't let people join until they've paid, how that worked or how you would do that. Can you add that to what you're going to send us?
Sure, let me make a note.
Okay, and while there are 3 questions here. The first one is the difference between, what is the difference between scheduling a meeting and hosting a meeting?
Okay, hosting a meeting is when you own the account and you're setting everything up and you're going to run the whole thing start to finish. Scheduling is just what you do to get the meeting on the calendar and get the invitation set. And if I finish through this, you may understand a little better. If not, we're going to stop again in a few minutes for other questions.
Okay, what, you have time for one more question from Carol Greenberg?
Okay.
Her hand is up. Okay, Carol. Can you unmute yourself?
Yeah, I was going to ask about the waiting room too, what that meant.
Well, yeah.
Well,
We'll
okay.
Okay. So we were up to video. The default is off. So if you want the host and or participants to have video when they sign in, click on. Otherwise, the host will have to turn on the video or allow the video when the people sign in to the meeting. Audio, the default is both, and it's best to keep it that way. It's for telephone and computer, so that way anybody can sign in anyway. Meeting options, you choose which options you want people to have. It is best not to click record the meeting automatically, as the meeting will begin recording when the first person signs in, which may use up some of your storage, and it will catch those pre-meeting conversations. If you click on Enable Waiting Room, you will have to allow each person to enter the meeting as they sign on. So that screen we had earlier where Toby showed you that please wait for the hostess to let you in, that's what the waiting room is. So if I were to, when I clicked on the link for that meeting, I was in that box. The host who was in the meeting already had to click on my name and admit me. And that way you can keep out people that you don't know who they are. That's just another level of security. That you can also mute participants upon entry and then allow them to have audio once they get in. And you can also choose only authenticated users can join. If you know your invitation is going to a specific group of people and won't be forwarded, you don't need to choose many of those security options. And remember, once in the meeting, the hosts can mute, stop video, and remove participants. And again, the host is the person that owns the account, is the licensee on the account, or the person that's been given hosting privileges. When you click Save, the meeting information is shown on the next screen. You can copy it, or you can click on Copy Invitation. When the box opens, click Copy, then paste into an email. Fill in the email addresses, subject, and any information you want to share about the meeting in the body of the email and hit Send. Zoom has toll numbers available for many countries that are included with all plans. The dial-in numbers available are dependent on the host's audio subscriptions and settings. So if a number is not listed, or if it has asterisks in place of some numbers, it means that number is not available on the account that you're currently logged into. This is important if you want to bring in a speaker from a Masorti seminary or congregation outside North America. So if you wanted to bring in somebody from Israel, like was done for one of our Mishnah Berachot programs, you need to make sure that that is enabled on your plan. You can set up the account so that more than one person is scheduling privileges. We won't discuss that tonight, as it won't apply to most of you. Okay, I'm going to put the link into the chat for doing that, and somebody.
Okay, we have a couple of questions.
Okay, that's the link. Well, let me just finish on this. This is especially relevant if you're using the synagogue's Zoom account. So what's some of our other questions?
Yep, okay, so Pearl wants to know how to set up a group in order to send to many people.
Okay, I have not read that here. The easiest way is to copy the invitation, put it into the email, and then just add whatever emails you want. I'm not sure how Women's League sends theirs, because they send it in their...
Through the database.
Through the, no, they just send it in the links in all the Women's League week.
If I want to set it up, one for a board meeting, so you have it every month, and I'll have all the names set. I don't want to type in all of the names every time I have to send a message, or to my sisterhood.
Okay, so if you set up your email group, so say you have your board group,
right?
And all those emails are in one group. You could just have to put in, board, and then all the emails will pop up in the email, and then you can just put in the invitation. If you have a recurring meeting, like my husband has one every Wednesday, that link was sent once. And so every Wednesday he goes back to that link, and it doesn't have to be resent. He just
does that, I'm sorry.
No.
Does that read, does that read from my contact list on my computer?
Yes.
So I have to put in 80 some odd emails to reach my sisterhood.
Yes, I actually did that yesterday.
Okay.
I needed to set up a group. So I went into my Gmail account,
right,
where I compose my emails, and I was able to click on names in my email list and put them all in under one title.
All right, I have some work to do tomorrow. I see.
I just marked it Sisterhood. So now each time I want to send something, I just go to my Gmail, go to my, you'll see the group come up, click on that, and paste the invitation where it says copy invitation here. That'll put it in a clipboard, and you can put that directly into your email.
Okay, thank you. I thought so, but it was a lot of work, and I thought there might have been an easier way, but I guess not.
The setup takes time. It's worth it in the end.
But once you set it up, it's done.
Right. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so setting up the meeting. As mentioned above, a security option for the host is to have everyone go to a waiting room first, where the host can verify identity and let a participant into the meeting, or there may be a password to enter the meeting. It depends on how you have it set up in your settings when you're scheduling. And again, only the owner, or they call it the licensee, can schedule the meetings. When scheduling the meeting, you can choose to have everyone muted as they enter. That's in one of the choices when you're setting it up. And the host can unmute as attendees come into the meeting. Again, this helps to keep out Zoom bombers, the people who crash the meetings. When the meeting begins, it's a good idea to assign a co-host in case of technical difficulties. If your internet goes down or the computer freezes and you need to exit, the connection won't be lost for others. If it's a large meeting, you may want someone to help with the muting, unmuting, monitoring, chat, and raised hands as we are doing this evening. To add a co-host, you click on the participants icon, find the name for the person you want to be co-host, click on more, and then click on make co-host. Alternatively, you can hover over user's video, click on the 3 dots, and click make co-host. You can only make a person a co-host after the meeting has begun. With meetings, hosts and co-hosts can control the following features. They can mute participants, request that a participant unmutes, stop a participant's video, request that a participant starts their video, prevent participants from screen sharing, rename a participant, put a participant on hold if enabled in the settings, choose to play an enter or exit chime, and lock the meeting to prevent anyone new from joining. And they can also place participants in the waiting room or admit or remove participants from the waiting room. However, the waiting room has to be set up by the host. Co-hosts do not have access to certain controls like closed captioning, live streaming, ending the meeting for all. They cannot make another participant a co-host.
What? Yeah, I'm gonna get off. Good.
Okay, I'll wait. They cannot start the breakout rooms or start the waiting room. Co-hosts also cannot start a meeting. If a host needs someone else to be able to start the meeting, they can assign another host ahead of time. What you do is you go into your account, and I did not put a picture of this because I didn't want you to see my host key number, sorry. But you go into your account and to your profile page. You scroll down to the host key. You click on show, and then that number can be given to someone else. When the new host joins the meeting, she can click on participants and then claim host. A box will pop up to enter the host key. Now, I've done this before, and I'm not sure if you have to be the first person on or just on before a host gets on to claim co-host. So I suggest being the first person on if you give hosting privileges to somebody else, or if somebody gives hosting privileges to you using the host key number, be the first one on. Now there's another option, which is called alternative host option. This allows you to schedule meetings and designate another licensed user on the same account to start the meeting on the host's behalf. This user will receive an email notifying them that they've been added as an alternative host with a link to start the meeting. But Zoom only allows one licensed user per line. You must have multiple lines on an account to be able to do this. So if you're sharing with the synagogue and they have multiple lines, they may be willing to make you an alternative host. So as an example, Women's League now has added a few lines for convention, a few extra lines. And so Eileen was made a licensed user on one of those lines. And now she can be an alternative host on any of the 6 lines that Women's League has. But again, it has to be multiple lines, because if you only have one line for your sisterhood, you can be the only host. You can assign using your host key, or you can assign a co-host once you've started the meeting. Okay, now to mute all and unmute all, which is our next slide, and somebody asked that question. As the host, when you get on to the call, you click on the participants icon on the toolbar. A screen will open up listing everyone. At the bottom will be 3 buttons: mute all, unmute all, or more. When you select mute all, you'll be asked if you want to allow participants to unmute themselves. If you do, click on continue. Muting all is a useful option, especially for large groups, as background noise interferes with transmission and clarity of audio. If you do not allow others to unmute themselves, you'll need to find their names in the list of participants or hover over their picture and click on unmute. You can mute an individual that forgets or doesn't know how to do it. You can stop video for a participant too if there is something inappropriate in the shot, like the husband in the shower in the background when a news anchor was reporting from home recently. One of the big questions and challenges that comes up is audio echo in a meeting. If you hear audio echo or audio feedback during your meeting, there are 3 possible causes. A participant has both the computer and telephone audio active. Participants with computer or telephones speakers that are too close to each other, or multiple computers with active audio in the same room. So now when several people are working from home, kids are doing their homework from home now, or schoolwork from home, if you're too close to each other working at the same time, there may be feedback. You can either ask the person to mute themselves or muting all. That's why that is a very useful tool. Sometimes the echo can also be from speakers such as TV or sound bars. Echo cancellation has failed, or simply a bad microphone. Okay, do we have any other questions at the moment?
Not right now.
Okay. Screen sharing, which is what we are doing tonight. You may share a document, video, or even something on the web, such as a YouTube video on your screen. You need to have the document or page you wish to share open on your desktop prior to signing in on Zoom. Just makes it a lot easier to find. Click on Share Screen, which is in that toolbar in the bottom or the top or the side, depending on which device you're using. You got it? Okay. A box will open with the documents on your desktop. Click on the one you want to share, and then click on Share at the bottom. When you are done, click Stop Share. Too far. Okay. That may be done either at the top of the document or the bottom of the document. Sometimes it moves when you're sharing. You may need to give permission to a participant to share screen by clicking on participant's name, clicking on the more next to their name. And the host can always stop someone from screen sharing as a security measure. Okay, go back a slide. And if you want to transition to a new document, nope, too far. That's it, thank you. If you want to transition to a new document, you can click on New Share. The box with the documents will pop up again and you can choose the new document and click on Share. If for some reason that doesn't show up, just click Stop Share, then click on Share again and go through the process and choose your new document. You can share a YouTube page or something similar in the way as you do for a document. For better quality, Zoom optimizes screen sharing of a full screen video clip to ensure the attendees have the best quality experience. Directions will be in the guide. I'm not going to go through all of those tonight. We are sharing the PowerPoint in full screen, and it's from a different computer than mine. Chat is also being monitored by another co-host or two. If you are the only person running the meeting, you can set up a PowerPoint so that it shows in just a single screen like one of the participants. And I will also include that in the How to Zoom guide. Okay, any questions so far? Oh, okay. Now, recording the meeting. As we did at the beginning, we let everyone know that we were recording the meeting and asked permission and offered people to turn off their videos if they want. Local recording is available to free and paid subscribers. Local recording allows participants to record meeting video and audio locally to a computer. The recorded files can be uploaded to a file storage device like Dropbox, Google Drive, or a streaming service like YouTube or Vimeo. Women's League does this with their programs, and then they post them like we will with this program tonight. Local recording is not supported on your iOS or Android phones. That you need to have cloud recording, and it needs to be on a paid account. So to do this, your account holder would sign into the Zoom web portal as an administrator. That's on your profile page and your settings page. And make sure when you click on account settings, go down to the recording tab and make sure that it is enabled. If it's not, you click on the toggle until it turns blue. If it asks you to verify, verify, and you'll be able then to record. To start a recording, the host must record or grant ability to record to a participant. So you click on the recording button. It'll look like the black one there. And then you will see the recording button, the smaller one will pop up in the screen, and you should see it in your screen now too. After the meeting has ended, Zoom will convert the recording so you can access files. And once the conversion process is complete, the folder containing the recording files will open. It may be in 3 different files, and so you have to check on all of them. One should be a chat, one should be an audio, and one should be audio video. So during a Zoom recording, we can hit pause, see pause, stop recording, and then we can start it again by clicking on the resume and stop recording button. If you hit stop and not pause, and you start recording again, you will have a new file that will start. If you hit pause, the recording will just continue where it left off, and you'll only have one file when you're done. Okay, so when you want to find your recordings, you open the Zoom desktop client and click Meetings. You click on the Recorded tab and select the meeting with the local recording. If you have a local recording that hasn't been converted yet, it will say click Convert to convert the recording, so it'll finish it. If you see only the open option, it means the recording is a cloud recording. If there are issues opening or playing the file, check the default recording location, ensure the files are in the correct place. Okay, so any questions on recording? Okay.
Yeah, but there's a screen share question.
Yeah,
I'm not sure what they meant.
Yeah, so once you're in, somebody's sharing the screen, correct me if I'm wrong, Eileen, but when everybody that's a participant can see what is being shown on the screen. In other words, Toby's sharing the screen, but everybody that's part of the meeting can see it. I don't know if Rita, if that was your question or not.
The reason why I'm asking, when we're in screen share now, I've heard certain boxes pop up on my screen that I was able to move around. One said, ask host permission for recording. And
so once someone's sharing their screen,
I was able to move
you can't do anything
around. So I didn't know whether that was happening on my computer only, or was that happening on the screen share. So that's why I asked that.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. If you click on one of those buttons on the bottom accidentally, like if you hit the share screen,
yeah,
then it pops up because only the host has ability to share the screen. That's why it said, do you want to ask the host for permission?
Okay, so somehow it got accidentally clicked. Okay,
right.
Right, happened.
Right.
Right. Okay,
yes.
Thank you.
Okay, and Renee, there's another question. Kathy wants to know how you would send a recording to someone else.
All right, so you will get the file, and these particular ones will be uploaded to YouTube, and you'll get a link for that. If you have a file, like I downloaded one of my grandkids, and I can just email that file. I download it to my computer, and I'm just going to email it to them. Okay?
Okay.
Which is what Shira said too. Thank you, Shira.
Right.
All right, so the other question that I was asked ahead of time was about breakout rooms. If you want to meet in small groups, such as breakouts with panelists or board teams, you can arrange for breakout rooms. You can choose to split the participants of the meeting into these separate sessions automatically or manually. To enable the breakout room feature for all members of your organization, you sign into your Zoom web portal as an administrator. You go to your settings. In the navigation menu, click Account Management, then Account Settings, and then you navigate to the Breakout Room option on the Meeting tab and verify that the setting is enabled. You see there, it's not blue, so it hasn't been enabled. You would have to click on it. It may ask you to verify, to turn it on, and then you click yes. So you click the checkbox to allow meeting hosts to pre-assign participants in the breakout room if you would like to do that. After enabling breakout rooms, you can do the following: participant in breakout rooms, manage breakout rooms, or pre-assign participants to breakout rooms. Now, it will also show up on your toolbar if you have that enabled. It does not show up on the toolbar here that I'm using because it's the Women's League account and they haven't enabled that. But I did do it on my account just for practice, and so you will have it on your screen once you log in to the meeting. All right, so, and then you would just click to begin your breakouts. If you haven't pre-assigned them, like if you want to pre-assign for a board orientation and you want your finance team in one room and your membership in another room and your programming people in another room, you can decide which participants are going into which room. You can do that ahead of time or you can do that while you're there. Otherwise, you have the option, if it's just panelists and you don't want to go through the trouble of assigning, you just let Zoom assign the people to the room and they just split them up evenly and randomly. And that's how you do breakout rooms. Okay, so.
There is a question, Renee, from Linda. Can you use breakout rooms with the free account?
That's a good question. I only looked at paid accounts for this. I don't know if that is an option, but it's only 40 minutes. And I think it would be very difficult to have breakouts within a 40-minute time period. Okay. I can check that for you. And
yeah, I'm making a note of it. And we have another question. Do you know what the maximum is for a free account?
What do you mean the maximum? The
number of people.
100.
Okay.
It's the same as the 59 account. Yes, that I do know. You have an email address or a way to, I can include that. Okay.
Suzanne says, yes, you can do a breakout on a free account.
No, good.
It takes a village around here.
It does. And I have to tell you, I've been through a lot of tutorials, a lot of slides, a lot of practicing, and I know we haven't covered everything because there's just too much to cover. If you have anything else you want to know, though, we'll be happy to look it up and help you out with it.
Renee, there's another question. Marlene wants to know if you can pre-assign participants for a social hour randomly ahead of time, and what happens if they do not show up that night? Good question.
If they don't show up, they've lost out, huh?
Right. They miss out on the social hour.
Right. If you pre-assign people to different rooms, they'll be in those rooms. And if one person doesn't show up, it'll just be a smaller room.
Okay, and Adele has a question. Do you need co-hosts for breakout rooms?
No, you don't need them, but you can assign them. And then you would have to assign the person to a co-host to a specific room that you want them in. But the host can go from room to room to room.
Okay, thank you, Sheila. She said that free account is up to 100 people for 40 minutes. So thank you very much.
But Rachel thought less.
Yes. I like Sheila's answer better.
It was in that one.
No, it was there. Renee Gale has a question. So some of our members have old computers that do not have cameras or a microphone. any recommendations, any devices out there we can recommend?
All right, so if you don't have a camera, but your computer can support the Zoom platform, you can still see the meeting without being seen. So that's one option. If their computer is so old that it doesn't support, I suggest a tablet or a phone, and a smartphone. You can download the app on your phone if they have smartphones, and you can participate. You can't see as much, but there are people on this call, I think this evening, that are on their smartphones.
And someone mentioned they can get a separate camera very inexpensively.
Yes, and the same with the
Camera,
microphone.
but yeah, the microphone could also be an issue.
Yes, but the concern is with that is if they can't support the Zoom platform, can their computer support the camera too? Because everything upgrades so quickly that it doesn't always work on an older item.
Right, and they can, there was a question, could they phone in? And yes, that's always an option, is to phone in. Joan wants to know if you want to create an account and you're based out of Canada, is it still zoom.us, or is there, do you know if there's a different website?
I haven't seen another website, and they didn't mention it, and they do have all those numbers.
Yeah.
You know, the international numbers on the account.
Yeah. I mean, I know that our Canadian sisters use Zoom back and forth, and it doesn't seem to be a problem.
Yes, and that's why I mentioned North America before.
Yeah.
And not, yes.
Right. And Adele is on. Yes, she said it's the same in Canada. Thank you, Adele.
Yes. Yes, I figured it would be. Yeah, no, that's.
Okay, I'm done with questions or comments in the chat.
Okay.
Okay, Toby.
So I don't know about the rest of you, but right now my brain is totally overloaded and I pretty much know what I'm doing. So, and I have the script in front of me. So I've got an advantage over all of you. But there's a new Yiddish word. Ausgemut. Overexposed to, fatigued by, exhausted from, bored by, had it with Zoom. And I'm not even going to try the Yiddish. Ich bin so ausgemut. I'm so done with Zoom. I don't know about some of you, but there are some of us right now with the change in convention that are on 3, 4, 5, sometimes 8 different Zoom meetings a day. And you know, Zoom has the advantage of you don't need to put on the bra. You can leave the pajama pants on, and you don't have to worry about too much makeup or anything else. But there are days when 8 o'clock rolls around and I'm done and just turn off the computer. So I think that's a real good word to explain how some of us feel. It sounds overwhelming, but I'm now using Zoom not only with the convention, but also with work. And I'm on a lot of Zoom calls a day, and I don't know what I would have done without it.
Hey, Toby, would you mind stop share? Because, yeah, see, Beth agrees. How would we be in isolation without it?
Right, and I was typing her, Beth, you are so right, because Zoom has made our lives so much better because we can connect with one another, though we're in all parts of every time zone imaginable, several countries, and it has made this isolation so much better. And not only that, we have been able to afford ourselves all kinds of educational opportunities.
Yeah. Yes. Okay.
I'm curious, Sheila says she has WebEx at work. Which do you think is easier? WebEx or Zoom? Where's Sheila? Sheila,
I'm right here.
Sheila knows Zoom,
Yeah,
that's
there
why
you
I'm
are.
curious.
That's hard. That's hard to say because I also use Teams, also Microsoft Teams, and I don't know. They're both they're very similar. They're very similar.
Yeah, I think this this seemed to be an easier platform for our members to.
Yeah, I don't know the details of WebEx. This came with work with 5,000 people, so.
Yeah, okay. Razel says no question, Zoom is.
Okay.
I started out with Google, I'm a special education teacher and I work with little kids. And I started out using Google Hangouts, and then we tried Google Meets, and we finally got permission from the federal government to use Zoom. Because, with all the federal education laws and everything, we had to be super, super cautious. And I'm so glad we got the Zoom. It's so much easier. It's easier for the parents and other people who aren't familiar with the platform to sign in and be part of your group. And it's easier for you to coordinate around that.
Okay, and looking through the chat, most people agree that Zoom is a better platform. And for those of you that are Sisterhood presidents or even Sisterhood members, if you don't have your own account, it might be worth it to get it, just so that you can schedule your own meetings and do your own thing whenever you want. But if that doesn't work, see if you can coordinate with your synagogue. But then they will have to be in charge unless they get more than one line and make you a licensed user. Okay, so before we go, Debbie Kainer-Goldich is on the call, and somebody mentioned convention before, and Debbie, would you, as our convention chair, virtual convention chair, would you like to say a few words?
Sure. Thanks, everybody. You may or may not know that we are having a one-day virtual convention on Sunday, July 12th. Everyone's invited, and it will be from about 10:30 in the morning till 5 or 5:30 in the afternoon. We have taken our 3.5-day convention and condensed it into one important day on Sunday, July 12th. I want to introduce Eileen Rubin. Wave your hand, Eileen. Eileen is the program vice chair of convention.
I'll say hello so that I get yellow for a minute.
Okay,
Right.
there
you go.
Hi.
And we've been working really hard over the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks to condense our convention into a virtual one. It's going to be meaningful, important, and we hope you'll all join us. It's free. If you're a member of Women's League, it's absolutely free. If you get Women's League Week, which came out Tuesday, all the information is in there about our virtual journal. And the virtual journal is an ad journal, and it's your opportunity to honor your members in the region who are important leadership, who hold important leadership positions. It's also an opportunity for your Sisterhood members to honor all of you as Sisterhood presidents. If you have someone in a leadership role on the international level or on the region level, you should have received an email from Women's League asking you if you'd like to donate to the ad journal in their honor. If you would like to do that, please pay attention on the Presnet. I know there'll be notices and information about the virtual journal. There'll be updates on the Presnet for all of you about convention and programming. Please read the emails that come out. I know many of you feel that there are lots of emails, but the reason we send those emails is that everyone has an important message. So please don't delete them. Please take the time to read them. It's, skim if you want, but at this time, over the next 4 weeks, 5 weeks before convention, as we get ready for convention, please pay attention to the ones about the virtual ad journal and the ones about the programming and the scheduling and how to register for convention, okay? If you have any questions, you can ask them in the chat right now. You can ask your region presidents. You can call the Women's League office, leave a message. You can email anybody, go to the website, leave us a message. There are a million ways to get your questions answered. Most of you, if you're not on the Presnet, sign up for the Presnet. The Presnet is an important, I see Linda Barbroff is shaking her head. I can see it. The Presnet is a great opportunity for you to exchange ideas and to learn from each other. And if you happen to delete the email about the Women's League virtual ad journal, you can put something in the Presnet and somebody will send you another one. If anybody has questions, put them in the chat. Eileen and I are happy to answer.
So Linda has her hand up.
I see.
Literally and in person. Yeah, there's one thing about Presnet. I saw that somebody recently signed off, you know, went off of it because we get sometimes so many emails because people reply and it goes out to everyone, and it does get very annoying, you know, just getting these messages, thanks for this, or can you tell me about that? And it's just a personal question intended for, you know, whoever sends out Presnet emails, but it's going to everybody. So somehow we have to get the message out of how people.
Right. So Renee, who was our wonderful leader tonight,
Renee.
Presnet chair, and maybe, you know, she took your message right now and
you know, we do send out reminders regularly to people. Whenever I send an email, I say privately, put the email address in the body. I put the email address by my name. Other people don't do that. There is a way to capture the email address, but not everybody is as tech savvy. They're just used to hitting reply, not realizing that reply on the Presnet just goes to the entire group.
Maybe a big do not hit reply.
I don't know if that can be embedded. We'll see. Yes. Yeah. And some people do enjoy hearing all that information that is shared, like the honey information. Some people did enjoy that. I agree. The yes, it is, or thank yous don't need to go to everybody.
Yeah.
And
there's a question about signing in and out during the day.
Yeah, I was just answering that, Deb, if you want to go ahead.
I would. Thank you, Carol.
Yeah.
So the day is yours, and we hope that you'll stay with us all day. There'll be breaks in between the educational programs and installation and the Sisterhood programming. So yes, you may sign out if you'd like to leave at one point during the day. There'll be different Zoom links, and you learned all about Zoom tonight. There'll be different Zoom links to be able to go into each program that you might be interested in. We are hoping to have the schedule out, you know, 2 weeks before the virtual convention so that you'll be able to pick and choose. But again, we hope that you'll stay with us all day, but you're not required to stay all day. You certainly can go in and out of different sessions with different Zoom links.
You won't want to leave.
Right. And if I could just, can I just say something there? This is such an opportunity. Everybody worked really hard to do an in-person convention for almost 3 years, but I urge all of you to take advantage of this virtual convention because every single member of your sisterhood can attend. It's not going to cost travel. There's no hotel costs. There's no meal costs. It is just take advantage of the opportunity of connecting to the larger organization that you're part of, seeing hundreds of other women just like you and learning from the best. So that's my message.
Thank you, Carol. And we took the best of the programming. And that's because we took Carol and Toby and their leadership team. The workshops that they'll be doing and that others will be doing are things that you might not normally get to attend at a convention. So you don't have to, I mean, to go to the Sisterhood presidents, you do need to be a Sisterhood president, although we're not checking ID for that. But if you want to know more about Torah Fund, even if you're not a Torah Fund vice president, go to that. It's Torah Fund. I may as well they deserve to hear this. Encourage your members, say, go to this workshop. And if all they want to do is come to one workshop, that's okay too, but they won't want to leave. It's Torah Fund, communications,
advocacy.
Yeah, Carol, Sisterhood.
Sisterhood presidents, Torah Fund, engagement, which is programming.
Right. Membership.
I have my list right in front of me.
Yeah.
Advocacy, communication, which is Facebook, so any kind of social media, Instagram, live stream, membership, and that covers it. And we're going to get that all done.
Oh, they're starting to yawn. I guess that means it's.
Yeah. Just again, a reminder.
And I'd like, Renee, I just want to say one more thing about convention, that it's not all about sisterhood. There's a lot of personal enrichment in this day. So we hope that you'll take a look at the schedule and be with us for most of the day.
Okay, thank you. And don't forget, Business of Women's League, installation, and a special treat at the end of the day.
Yes.
So, okay, first of all, I just want to remind everybody this video will be posted probably next week because tomorrow's Shabbat and then it's a 3-day weekend. And I will send the how-to by next week also so that you can look through it if there was something that you missed. And so that will be sent out to everybody that signed up. Also, people mentioned Presnet. A few people on the call I know this evening are not Sisterhood presidents. Presnet is for Sisterhood presidents. But if you want to be a part of it and you are a Sisterhood president, just email me. I put my email there. There was another question. Can you send a list of the programs with the video, or are you going to send that out? That's up to the program team. So that was in the,
Is she referring to convention programs?
yes.
Yeah, which,
Okay, so as I said, the schedule will come out about 2 weeks before convention.
I think the general program is what she was talking about. The things you
specific. Okay.
If you got 3 minutes, I could rattle it off.
No, I think people are.
Put it in your sleep, Eileen.
It will be the best of the best. That's all I'll tell you. We took the best things, what you really want. We would not have anything without having a service, because that's what we know, or that's what we're about. And an installation and workshops and at one panel with we took the best of our programming, and for the convention, and we just compacted it into 7 hours. So there'll be the best 7 hours of your life.
Yeah. So no
For
meal,
free.
no,
For free, right? That's the whole thing. And you only have to get dressed once.
Or not at all.
That's why we have the host being able to stop those videos.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Okay.
Or you just learned tonight how to turn off your own videos, so.
Yep, that's it. Okay. Well, I want to thank Carol Simon and Toby Mazer, who were my co-chairs in putting this together this evening. And Toby did the slide presentation. Carol monitored the chat. We added Eileen volunteered earlier today, and Debbie to help monitor the chat also. We may need a How to Zoom 2.0 to answer some of the more technical questions. We just covered the surface tonight, which was our intention. So thank you all for taking your time to join us. Carol, Toby.
Thank you, Renee.
Final words?
Thank you, Renee. And thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight.